Welcome back to another little market review. As always, these are just my interpretations on price. These are just my annotations. Let's get straight into it. And as you see, on this day we had CPI. CPI actually came up and we manipulated price higher, and we immediately inversed that with bearish for value gaps. And it seems like throughout the whole day we just have moved higher with manipulation for value gaps, and we just end up inversing them with real fair value gaps. Within the morning, I was thinking that was possibility that we could get a run on buy side here, but as we can see, this bullish order block fails to hold. We then end up displacing. We then end up respecting this fair value gap, showing initial signs that the drawn liquidity is likely actually lower. So as you see, we form SMT here and SMT here. Notice ES is underlying strong. ES is so much stronger here, and NQ is a lot weaker, and that's therefore we sell off a lot. We have a more explosive move on NQ. And as we can see, this 2-minute fair value gap, look at the bodies, respecting that perfectly. And notice here, these two down close candles and that new day opening gap support price initially, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 times or 14 minutes we're within this order block. That is not so much of a bullish signature. Usually when we see an order block, I want to see quick and snappy responses. This is more just manipulation. This more is just showing the underlying sentiment might be bearish. And as we can see, we end up falling off. And here's that 950 macro as noted here, SMT, SMT. And then let me pull up my other annotations. I wish I had this on a slideshow, but what I did notice today is that we have this opening range gap. And look at the liquidity that we referred to today at 9:30. IPTA, since we had a big manipulation move, referred to this gap right here. Look at that. Look at the bodies. Look at the bodies. We have an order block right there as well. And then boom, we displaced lower. Immediately inverse this fair value gap right here. We put in a short-term bottom like this. This is not going to be the bottom. This is just for us to retrace up into a premium here. Then we end up breaking down here. We have an immediate rebalance right there, and then price just ends up falling out of bed here. And then here is the 1050 macro. And notice how there still can be opportunity even on these large down close candles when it feels like we've already had the move already. But look at constant encroachment of this fair value gap. We respect that perfectly, showing that, hey, we still likely have some more expansion possibly to the downside. As we see, constant encroachment holds. We then get a fair value gap right here in line with an order block. We can now trust that since we've seen a bearish signature right here. Then look, we get another fair value gap right there. That gets traded to as well. Then we end up going down to previous opening range gap there. Oops. And then here, this whole range, we've had buy side delivered, and then we have sell side delivered. Notice how we have fair value gap in, fair value gap out. This acts as a balanced price range. We have an inversion right there, and then we also have an inversion right here. Notice how this just gets respected. And this, here, I don't have it on this chart, but it should be on the previous chart. But notice how, I guess they're not showing up, but we're displacing through two previous new day opening gaps here with a fair value gap here, a 5-minute fair value gap. Notice how that gets traded to. This whole area acts as a balanced price range, and there's still opportunity. And look here, we have another manipulation higher, breakdown, fair value gap right there, in line with his inversion. 40 points offered there. 40 points right there. Like, that is more than enough right there. And then this right here is 80 points from this low to high there, or high to low there. And then lastly, we have the end of the day session. See, we have the 1150 macro, the 1250 macro, and then the silver bullet hour. Notice how we drop into a deep discount here. Here's that 130 opening price. We're in a deep discount at 2 p.m. silver bullet. We then end up getting displacement higher. We have a fair value gap right here. Gets respected nicely. We have another fair value gap right here in line with a mitigation up to buy side. This right here. This right here. With that previous new opening range gap, which pretty much is a new day opening gap. It's a little bit different. Ends up getting respected perfectly. up to buy side right there. And as you can see for the rest of the session, we kind of just meander around, head back to that previous range gap, opening range gap. And yeah, those are just my interpretations, and I will see you guys in the next one.